Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
Well, there may be a snowstorm in the Northeast, but it's always baseball weather in the Cactus League. We're in Scottsdale, where the D-backs are hosting the Texas Rangers. Blue skies overhead. Rangers fans down from Surprise. It's a full house here. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by your Valley Honda dealers. Good afternoon from Salt River Field to Talking Stick, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way. The D-backs and the Texas Rangers here today. Bob, it's Patrick Corbin on the mound for the Diamondbacks, his fourth start this spring.
Still competing for that 5 spot in the rotation. We know Patrick struggled during the regular season last year, ended up in the bullpen at the end of the season where he pitched very effectively, but you know he wants to be in that starting rotation. And to that end, he's mixing in some more secondary pitches. Last time out, threw a lot of straight changeups. Look for some more breaking balls today. It's getting to that point of spring where we need to see some results.
Yeah, Patrick's fourth start. Last time out, he went 3 1/3. He's up against the Rangers' Chichi Gonzalez here today. It's the Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers from Scottsdale. First pitch coming up. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Gila River Casinos. Experience winning like you've never imagined at Gila River Casinos, Lone Butte, Wild Horse Pass, and Dequeva. By Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call the Law Tigers, Arizona's motorcycle lawyers. And by Ram Trucks. Hurry in and get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Toyota dealer. Visit your local Valley Toyota dealer or shop online. Toyota, let's go places. By Northern Arizona University. At NAU, we see possibility in every direction. By Tire Pros, everything rotates around you. And by Sanderson Ford. The best play is at Sanderson Ford. The Cactus League schedule marches on. An off day yesterday, but another busy week ahead. Today at Salt River Field to Talking Stick, it's the D-backs and the Rangers. First pitch is next on Fox Sports Arizona. Brenly along the way. 87 and sunny today. Supposed to get up to the mid-90s, BB, this week. So the summer has arrived, and it's only the middle of March.
Yeah, grab a shovel and get some of this sunshine off the concourse, will you? The fans are having trouble getting in.
They're under a foot of snow in the Northeast today, still coming down. But here in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, Patrick Corbin and the Diamondbacks set to take on Jeff Bannister and his Texas Rangers, who are down from surprise. Now, the Rangers won just twice in their first 13 games this spring, but Texas has turned it around a bit. They've won 2 straight and 3 of 4 coming into today.
Yeah, and they're really missing a lot of very key people playing in the World Baseball Classic. Adrian Beltre, their backup catcher, Robinson Chirino, Sam Dyson, Rougned Odor, Jonathan Lucroy. They're missing a lot of their starting players to the WBC. This is the lineup that we'll see today from the Texas Rangers. Delino DeShields starting in left field today, battling for a roster spot. Travis Snyder out in right field. Ryan Rua doing the DH duties today. Joey Gallo down at third base. Elvis Andrus at shortstop. James Loney, the former Dodger, former Tampa Bay Ray at first base. Drew Robinson at second base. Cesar Puello at center field. And Jose Trevino doing the catching for Chichi Gonzalez. Actually, his name is Alexander Gonzalez, but everybody knows him as Chichi.
Yeah, the Rangers just 5 wins on this spring, the fewest in the Cactus League, but they're coming off a win over the Giants in surprise last night. Carlos Gomez hit a grand slam to provide most of the Texas offense in that one. Diamondbacks are on the field now, and on the mound is Patrick Corbin, the left-hander, anxious to prove he's the same outstanding starting pitcher that he's been in the past after a rough season last year.
Yeah, rough season as a starter. As I mentioned in the open of the show, he finished strong out of the bullpen, but like most pitchers his age, Patrick Corbin wants to earn a spot in that starting rotation where he can go out there every 5th day. And as we mentioned in the open, once again incorporating more of his secondary pitches. But for me, Patrick Corbin's success depends on his ability to pound that fastball inside to right-handed hitters. It really sets up the rest of his arsenal.
Anthony Bonda was sent to minor league camp today, signed to AAA Reno. So Patrick still in a battle for that 5th starter spot with Braden Shipley and Archie Bradley. A look at the Diamondbacks defensively, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
Gregor Blanco getting the nod in center field. He'll be flanked by Christopher Negron in left and David Peralta in right field. It'll be Lamb and Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Drury and Herman on the right side today. Chris Iannetta doing the catching for lefty Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, no pitcher in the National League allowed more runs last season than Patrick Corbin. He's looked pretty good so far this spring, and hoping to turn in another outstanding performance for Torey Lovullo on a sunny day here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Make sure you have those shades on. Yeah, you're going to need them.
Yeah, for Patrick Corbin, this Rangers lineup as it's configured today might work to his favor. 4 left-handed hitters in the lineup. Hopefully he'll be able to dominate those lefties and battle the righties.
A busy week for the D-backs after a rare off day yesterday, although Zach Greinke was in action pitching on a backfield somewhere in a B game just to get some innings in and some pitches in. But it's the Rangers today, then the Cubs, the Brewers, the A's, and the Mariners the rest of this week.
Yeah, spring training off day is a rare treat. Most of all, guys get to sleep in a little bit. You know, they're used to getting up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning to get over to the ballpark, get their work done before their real work day starts. So just the opportunity to sleep in an hour or two really beneficial to some of the guys.
Delino DeShields in a battle for the left field job in Texas will lead it off, and we're underway in Scottsdale, the D-backs and the Rangers. There's ball 1. Jim Reynolds is our plate umpire today. DeShields 5 for 5 in his stolen base attempts this spring, trying to utilize his speed and win a starting job in the outfield. And he's ahead 2-0.
Yeah, trying to bounce back from a disappointing season. He spent last offseason, not this past offseason, but 2 off seasons ago, bulking up, hit the weight room, put on 10 or 15 pounds of muscle, and lost a step.
Yeah, it didn't work for him.
So they told him,
strengths,
get down to your playing weight and use your speed. That's what's going to get you and keep you in the big leagues. And he's much trimmer this year and using that speed.
And he's aboard a leadoff single just by a diving Nick Ahmed. So DeShields in his 5 steals this spring aboard for Travis Snyder, the right fielder. 5 for 24 on the spring.
Obviously not. Stop looking.
Snyder did not play in the major leagues last year. He spent most of the season with the Royals AAA team in Omaha. Bob mentioned the Rangers very short-handed. Several key guys in the World Baseball Classic. Adrian Beltre, Jonathan Lucroy, Rougned Odor, Jurickson Profar. And they played a game last night, so some of the veterans like Carlos Gomez have today off. And they'll keep the Shields close at first.
Yeah, when I saw this game on our schedule very early on in spring, I was looking forward to seeing Adrian Beltre and Elvis Andrus, the Peckle and Jekyll of Major League Baseball, out there on the left side of the infield. But as we mentioned, Beltre not here. He's participating in the World Baseball Classic, but Elvis Andrus is here.
Andrews has been battling an injury this spring. He's only played in a couple of games, in fact. Patrick still ahead of Snyder 0-2. Here's Jeff Bannister. Saw you down on the field, chatting him up a little bit before the game.
Yeah, I was giving him a hard time. Jeez, it's easy to manage when you got a roster like you have. He just laughed. He said J.D., John Daniels, the general manager of the Rangers, has been very accommodating, giving him the right players.
And they brought in Mike Napoli in the offseason. Rangers last year won 95 games, American League West champions. They finished 9 ahead of Seattle to win the division title, but then were swept in the division series by the Toronto Blue Jays.
And some key members gone from last year's team as well. No Carlos Beltran, no Ian Desmond, no Mitch Norland. That's a lot of thump going out of town.
American League West should be highly competitive this year with the Astros, the Rangers, the Mariners.
Patrick checking on DeShields over there at first base. Delino DeShields, if that name is familiar to baseball fans, his daddy was a really good player for a long time. Played for 5 different teams in the major leagues. A lifetime .268 hitter. 463 stolen bases.
13 years in the big leagues, notably with the Expos. Very short left. Christopher Negron fights the sun. He's got the first out.
You could have had a lot of fun here in the Cactus League with Christopher Negron bingo.
Where's he going to play?
Where is he going to play? How many positions will he play today? He's been all over the field for the Diamondbacks this spring.
Yeah, he's had games where he's played 3 or 4 spots in one game. And he's getting the start in left field. Still no Yasmani Tomas, although Tomas, with that bad back, did take a couple of rounds of batting practice today, so hopefully he's back in the lineup later this week. The DH today is Ryan Rua. Rua tied for the Rangers spring lead 8 RBIs. He's 8 for 32. And he's hit safely in 6 of his last 7 Cactus League games. Patrick keeping a very close eye on Delino DeShields. 5 for 5 in his stolen base attempts this spring. Where is Paynesville, Ohio?
Paynesville.
You're the Ohio man here.
I'm not sure.
I got 2 of them up here, neither one of you. That's where Lake Erie College is. That's where Ryan Rua was a 17th round pick by the Rangers.
I'm guessing it's Cleveland area.
Rua has made himself a spot on the Texas roster by playing, well, like Christopher Negron, just about everywhere. Last season, left field, first base, center field, right field, third base. DHing today. It's 0-2.
Yeah, Paynesville's just east and north of Cleveland a little bit. I guess you could call it a suburb of Cleveland, a far-reaching suburb.
I always like to play the Ohio geography game with you. It's a wide-ranging state.
Yes, it is. There are 88 counties in the state of Ohio. I will tell you that.
Nice.
Want me to name
nice
them?
Pull. Well, maybe later. If we have another game like we had last week against the A's, we may go through all 88 starting with Coshocton. No chance for Patrick to get into any kind of rhythm out there with the DeShields leadoff single. He's had to step off and throw over to first a number of times, but he's ahead of Ryan Rua, 0-2. One more time.
Fifth pickoff attempt already for Patrick Corbin with Delino DeShields over there to go along with one time where he just stepped off the rubber to freeze DeShields over there at first.
It's cliched, but you do want to work on that at some point this spring, don't you?
Sure. Yeah, that's a swing right there. And to be quite honest with you, Patrick could use a little work on his pickoff move. He's not as deceptive as you would like to see. Doesn't get guys leaning the wrong way very often. Something that could really help him, especially in situations like this when you get a speedy runner on first base. Could not check on that slider down and in.
Right on the back foot with that slider. His first strikeout. And here's Joey Gallo playing third base for the Rangers. Big power hitting prospect who's 4 for 27 this spring. He homered Friday against the Dodgers at Camelback Ranch in Glendale. Shift is on for the Diamondbacks, and there's strike one. Gallo has always been and continues to be a big swing and miss guy. And that's been the case again this spring. 27 Cactus League at bats. He struck out 14 times. And that has been the thing that has held him back, making contact. He was 1 for 25 in the big leagues last year, struck out 19 times in those 25 ABs, but the one hit was a home run, and he's got some tremendous power. Just like that, a mile high up in the air, headed for the right field corner. Peralta's there, and he's got just enough room. Hang on, David. Patrick Corbin strands the leadoff single. Diamondbacks coming up. '25-year-old right-hander, a Rangers first-round draft pick 4 years ago out of Oral Roberts University. He made just 3 starts for Texas last season, 0-2. The ERA was near 9, and for the second time in 2 years, he walked more batters than he struck out.
Yeah, that's been an issue for Gonzalez since his professional career started, walking as many or more guys than he strikes out. He has a basic 4-pitch mix, couple of different fastballs, slider, curveball, changeup combination. He can throw strikes.
Well, still no A.J. Pollock. He'll need a couple of more days off after he left Sunday's game against the Giants with what the Diamondbacks say is a mild groin tightness situation. Just a little tweak he felt rounding the bases after hitting a home run. So Gregor Blanco, the former Giant, is leading off and playing center field.
Yeah, and this time of year, small injuries, little injuries, you definitely want to stop and make sure they don't get any worse. If it was a regular season, I'm sure A.J. Pollock would get some treatments, wrap it up, and go get him. But you don't need to do that right now. Get well, come back for opening day ready to go.
AJ, we should point out, will be at the Coyotes game Thursday against the Detroit Red Wings. He's going to drop the puck. Gonzo will be there as well. It'll be D-backs night Thursday. The Coyotes game.
Howler was out here on the field before the ball game, the mascot of the Coyotes, and Dee Baxter will be over at the hockey game tomorrow night.
It's a world gone mad. Gonzalez strikes out Blanco, a high fastball, one away. Here's the lineup for Torey Lovullo's Arizona Diamondbacks.
Gregor Blanco goes down on strikes to start it offensively for the Diamondbacks. He's out in center field. David Peralta making his way to the plate. Made a nice catch to end that top half of the first. Out in right field, Brandon Drury at second base. Jake Lamb at third base. Chris Iannetta doing the catching. Chris Herman down at first base. You can never get too many catchers on the field. Osvaldo Arcia in right field. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. And Christopher Negron in left field.
Here is David Peralta. And it's quickly 0-2. Gonzalez throwing strikes out there. David 7 for 24 with 6 RBIs so far on the spring. A couple of doubles. And we saw him make that tightrope catch to win the top of the first on that high fly ball hit to the right field corner by Joey Gallo. And Gonzalez, how about this? 2 up, 2 down, 2 strikeouts.
For a guy in the past that's had command issues. Pretty good start for Gonzalez today, working his way around the edges of the strike zone to record 2 strikeouts to start the game for the D-backs.
Brandon Drury batting third today and playing second base. Brandon 9 for 29, couple of RBI. Shoots this one toward the right field corner. It's in the bullpen. Chichi Gonzalez, once a top prospect with the Rangers, as we mentioned, a former first-round pick. Although he just turned 25, there's still time, but the results to this point have not been all that encouraging, frankly. Still less than 78 big league innings to the resume. Spent nearly all of that last year at AAA Round Rock, where he went 8 and 10. Missed in with a fastball, and it's 2-1 on Brandon Drury. Gonzalez does have several different pitches in the repertoire, mostly a sinker slider guy, but he's got a change-up and curveball as well. Check swing foul. And that 4-pitch mix is what helped get him to the big leagues 2 years ago when he was only 23, but he's had little success. And the Rangers thought, well, with that changeup and curveball, he might get some swings and misses, but he's not really a strikeout pitcher per se. Hit hard and into left, a base hit for Drury. Let's take a look at the Rangers defensively, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
Delino DeShields will get the start in left field. Cesar Puello in center field. Travis Snyder over in right. It'll be Joey Gallo and Elvis Andrus on the left side of the infield, with Drew Robinson and James Loney at first base. Jose Trevino doing the catching. No relation to Alex Trevino, former major league catcher. And Chichi Alexander Gonzalez on the line.
Jake Lamb, how about this spring? 10 for 20 with 2 homers. Rangers don't shift per se, but they do back up their second baseman Robinson onto the outfield grass. Now Andrews, the shortstop, is over there on the first base side of second. Gallo all by himself midway between second and third. It's interesting that they put Joey Gallo in that spot.
Yeah,
he's more of an outfielder, playing third base today with no Beltre. But instead they move the shortstop over. That one missed, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike on Jake Lamb. Last season, 29 homers, 91 RBIs, second on the Diamondbacks in both categories. So one pitch is fouled off. Torey Lovullo, in watching Jake so far at the plate this spring, has seen a balanced approach. And the way Torey put it was, Bob, I thought this was interesting. He said there's no hustle in Jake's swing. Nice, easy, sort of staying through the ball kind of a deal. He's not rushing up there.
Occasionally he'll be tardy on a really good fastball, especially when it's up in the zone. But because of that approach, he doesn't get fooled by a lot of off-speed pitches. Usually can identify the breaking ball a lot better.
Well, 3 strikeouts in the inning for Gonzalez. No score in Scottsdale.
Take a look at our Valley Honda dealers' key to the ball game today. We touched on it briefly in the open. And for Patrick Corbin and every other pitcher in spring training that's either guaranteed a spot in the rotation or battling for a spot in the rotation, it's time to start working on your entire arsenal. Sharpen up those off-speed pitches. A couple of breaking balls in that first inning for Patrick Corbin, otherwise all fastballs. But we're going to keep a close eye on that straight changeup and that slider in the game today for Patrick.
Elvis Andrus, a couple of doubles last night, and the Rangers win over the Giants in surprise. Will lead off the second against Patrick Corbin. There's strike one. Andrus has barely played this spring. He's coming off surgery during the offseason for a sports hernia, so they've been taking it easy with him. And Patrick jumps ahead 0-2. Patrick coming off a start Thursday against the White Sox in Glendale, and he really did start working on that changeup, getting it into the mix a little more often. A high pop-up drifting out to shallow left as Ahmed, and Negron calls him off. And that's 4 straight set down by Patrick Corbin. Patrick said probably threw about 10 changeups in 3 1/3 innings. That's a pretty fair amount for him. And said he thought he had about 6-7 swings and misses with that changeup. He's been trying to refine that pitch the last couple of years, so some pretty encouraging results. James Loney, the first baseman, 4 for 26. Loney competing for a job in Texas after 11 seasons in the big leagues, and the D-backs have the shift on.
I think that changeup for Patrick is going to be a really key pitch as you get a look at the Diamondbacks defensively behind Patrick Corbin, playing that exaggerated pull shift. And we talked about him bullying right-handed hitters inside with his fastball. That hard slider many times will end up at the back foot of a right-handed hitter. If he had an off-speed pitch working the other direction away from a righty that he could throw on the outside corner, that would really round out his arsenal.
That pitch has been coming along in recent seasons. First base side, Chris Herman. Interesting, the D-backs in the shift that they just had Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, way out in short right field, almost along the right field line. And they left Jake Lamb, the third baseman, over there. And it looks like they'll do the same thing here with the left-hand batting Drew Robinson. Nick is way out there as the shortstop in short right field. Brandon Drury near second base and Jake Lamb on the left-hand side. So that's a little bit of a new look.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick has faced 6 hitters in this game. He's had an 0-2 count on 4. Gotta love that.
He's retired 5 in a row after that leadoff single by DeShields. Robinson having a good spring. 8 for 27 with 3 home runs. Playing second base today. He's reached base safely in 9 of his 11 games this spring. Spent all of last year with their AAA club in Round Rock. Hit 20 homers there, stole 17 bases. He runs very well. And Patrick's ahead 1-2.
I'm sure you noticed, partner, Howler behind home plate doing his Dinger impersonation, although Dinger never comes out this
I
early.
was going to say, yeah, unless, of course, the Rockies were winning. We've reached détente with Dinger, though. I think we've made tremendous strides in terms of diplomacy, reaching out the hand of peace across the table to Dinger. There's Howler. He's got good seats.
By the way, has there been a Dinger sighting this spring? The Rockies are right there.
Yeah, I saw him strolling around here, kind of acting like he owned the joint. Okay. Patrick's second strikeout. He set down 6 straight, no score in Scottsdale. The D-backs and the Texas Rangers, and the Diamondbacks will bat against Chichi Gonzalez here in the bottom of the second inning. Chris Iannetta, Chris Herman, and Osvaldo Arcia, 5, 6, and 7. Iannetta, the catcher today, 4 for 11. All 4 hits are doubles. So he's off to a good start this spring. Gonzalez struck out 3 in the top of the first. Iannetta barrels one up deep to center field. And there it goes. Chris Iannetta onto the berm. His first of the spring, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks.
It up is right. That's something Chris Iannetta has been doing all spring. Even a lot of his outs have been hit very hard. Picks on a first pitch fastball inside part of the plate. A no doubter.
He hit one there last week that was about 20 feet high up the center field batter's eye, a line drive bullet. And that one was hit nearly as well. This is a broken bat bloop off the bat of Chris Herman. But he's aboard. Third hit for the Diamondbacks. Here's Osvaldo Arcia. Chris Iannetta, 5 hits this spring, all of them for extra bases. Arcia has homered twice this spring. He is the DH today. Diamondbacks made 6 roster moves before the ball game today. Pitchers Anthony Bonda, Jimmy Sherfy sent to AAA Reno. Dawel Lugo assigned to AA Jackson. And off to minor league camp, pitchers Jared Miller, Daniel Gibson, and Frank Duncan. So the roster right now, 53 players left in camp. You see the numbers on Osvaldo Arcia last year. He played for 4 teams: the Twins, the Rays, the Marlins, and the Padres. 0-2. That's over the Rangers dugout and out of play. That one was coming in hot into the first couple of rows back there. Osvaldo Arcia has been a fairly one-dimensional player so far. 25 years old, he'll be 26 in May. Very good power, pulls the ball most often. But a lot of swing and miss, and he's not a great defensive outfielder. But one thing he can do is hit right-hand pitching and hit it pretty hard. Swings through that one and strikes out. 4th strikeout for Gonzalez. 1 down in the 2nd. Good day to be in the shade. A beautiful day, but it's starting to get a little warm here in the Valley of the Sun. Still, we've got a packed house at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. A lot of folks out there in the outfield. But shortstop today, Nick Ahmed, 6 for 30 this spring. He does have 6 RBIs. Chris Herman at first, 1 out, 1 run in on the Iannetta home run, his first this spring. I heard a report that it was Dave McKay's birthday today.
I heard that report as well.
Dave down there coaching in first, the best in the business. Yep, born March 14th. He's 67 today, Dave McKay, so happy birthday.
It's tough having a birthday in spring training. Guys
Right.
have way too much time, and they've got their meal money and their live-off money. They get handed a check of cash every week. Give guys some money and a little bit of time and have somebody celebrating a birthday during spring training. You never know what you might see.
That sounds like a story or two. Perhaps we'll tell off the air. I'm going to assume we'll have to tell it off the air.
Well, you know, funny things happen in spring training. You put 70 guys in a locker room together for 6 weeks.
What could happen?
What could happen? The
numbers for Nick last year: Was only able to play in 90 games with that hip injury. But he's moving around very well this spring. That has been a non-issue, which is good news for Nick and the Diamondbacks. Coaches have seen that spring back in his step that he had before the injury last year.
Yeah, if you didn't know about the injury, you would never suspect it watching the way Nick has gone about his business this spring. Full participation in every drill, defensively and offensively. He's run the bases well, and that quick first step is still there.
Had a couple of cortisone shots in that hip last year. Didn't really help, and eventually had to have surgery. Didn't play a game after July 22nd. Gonzalez missed upstairs, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Chichi Gonzalez just turned 25 years old in January. Out of Boca Raton, Florida. First-round pick from Oral Roberts. He was the 23rd overall selection in that draft. That one rolls away from Trevino, but Herman stays put at first. Trevino is a very, very good defensive catching prospect. They like his glove a lot back there. In fact, last year, he won the minor league Gold Glove Award at catching. Played an A-ball last season, hit over 300 as well. In fact, he is an Oral Roberts grad, so it's an all Oral Roberts battery for the Rangers here today. Nick Ahmed, late time granted by Jim Reynolds. Gonzalez not thrilled. Chris Herman, the runner at first. Nick reaches out with that 2-strike approach and dunks it into right field. Well, he's been working on that much of the spring, trying to hit the ball up the middle and the other way.
That's a thing of beauty right there. That's a nasty pitch. You can see Trevino going down to block it. The pitch looked like it was headed for the dirt. Nick somehow gets enough of the bat on it to goose it out there into shallow right field for a base hit.
So a leadoff homer in the inning by Chris Iannetta, singles by Herman and Ahmed. A run is in, first and second, one out for Christopher Negron. Christopher does have a home run on the spring, 6 for 23. Getting the start today in left field. There's a strike, and it's 0-1. Yasmani Tomas has been out since last week with some lower back pain. And Yasmani did take a couple of rounds of batting practice today and will likely need a couple of more days off, but hopefully he'll be back in action by the end of this week. Oh, 0-2. Well, Gonzalez, for a guy who's walked more batters than he struck out in the big leagues, has been a strike thrower so far today. He's got 4 punch-outs already. Herman, the runner at second, and Ahmed at first. I really like, Bob, when the guys wear the high socks, the Diamondbacks this year, those stripes.
Yeah, that's a nice look rather than just all black from the ankle all the way up to the knee.
A lot of guys going with the high socks in spring this year. It looks kind of sharp, a little old school. Just a hint of fashion. Ooh, that missed someplace.
A little bit of late movement on that cutter kind of pushed Nick off the plate, or rather Christopher Negron off the plate, and then tried to nip that inside corner.
They have noticed the Diamondbacks did change their pants this year. Nothing on the bottoms of the pants anymore, and the stripe goes all the way up now to the waistline. There's a good shot of it. Negron slaps one the other way. Tony Paris-Chico will change his mind and put the brakes on Chris Herman. And the Diamondbacks have the bases loaded for Gregor Blanco. Tony was windmilling Herman around the bag and then suddenly stopped him.
We talked about it in our last telecast. New third base coach this year, Tony Perez-Chica, and he's learning his players, and they're learning his tendencies over there in that third base coach's box. He was waving Herman the whole way until he saw the right fielder, Travis Snyder, come up with the ball cleanly, unleashed his throw, and only then did he throw up the stop sign. Very important that the players learn the third base coach. He wants them to run hard through the bag. He'll watch the play behind him and let them know whether he wants them to go on to home plate or slam on the brakes, as Chris Herman did that time.
Well, the D-backs now with 5 hits, 4 in this inning. And it's Gregor Blanco, the leadoff man, who struck out his first time up. A run is in, bases loaded, 1 out. Chris Herman at third, Nick Ahmed at second, Christopher Negron at first. Blanco is able to check. It's 1-0. Gregor Blanco, a couple of World Series rings with the Giants, so he knows what it takes to get there. And he was saying the other day that he can see on the faces of his new D-backs teammates that they're ready to win. They want to win. Bounce to first. Loney coming home. Trevino tried for the stretch and got the force, but his foot was off the plate, and Herman is in. It's 2-0.
We had a good view of it from up here in the press box. That ball backs up Loney a little bit at first base. He still fires home. And Trevino, you could clearly see in an effort to stretch out there for that throw on the infield side of the plate, dragged his foot right off the plate.
Jeff Bannister out there to have a word with Jim Reynolds, but you could see clearly Trevino's foot was not on home plate. The run scores. The bases are still loaded with 1 out, and the batter is David Peralta.
Hey, good pitch. Go now.
David struck out his first time up. Play ball right to Robinson. Andrews for 1. They roll it. And that's the end of the inning. But the Diamondbacks get 2, led by Chris Ionetta's first home run this spring. It's 2-0 D-backs. Diamondbacks get 2. They take a 2-0 lead. Next TV game for you fans is coming up on Fox Sports Arizona Thursday. It's the Diamondbacks and the Brewers from Maryvale. Robbie Ray will start that ball game. Now, nobody panic, but that is not a Berthium Brenly production. We will be picking up the Brewers feed. So you'll get maybe BA and Rock doing that game for you. But it's the Milwaukee Brewers feed. We will have the game for you on Fox Arizona. D-backs and Brewers on Thursday. And then Bob and I will be back on our Diamondback broadcasts on Saturday as we take on a team for the World Baseball Classic, maybe the Netherlands. Depends who finishes second in the particular bracket. We'll sort that out as the week goes on. Cesar Puello, the center fielder, leads it off in the third against Patrick Corbin. Patrick with 2 strikeouts. He has set down the last 6 Rangers he's faced. Puello 1 for 12 with a home run this spring. And quickly it's 0-2. Cesar Puello 9 seasons in the minor leagues with the Mets and the Yankees. He played for the Yankees AAA team in Scranton Wilkes-Barre last year. Hit .283 with 5 home runs. Swing and a miss. Third strikeout for Patrick. He set down 7 straight.
Another back foot slider for Patrick Corbin. Really has a nice feel for it today. You can see that ball looked like it was going to be a strike about 90% of the way to home plate, and then just falls off the plate down and in. Right-hander swing right over the top of it.
Jose Trevino, the catcher. And another strike one from Corbin. Trevino in his first big league camp with Texas, and he's had a good spring, 1 for 7, but he has impressed with the glove. And Jeff Bannister was saying that this is a guy who eventually has a chance to be with the Rangers at some point. Rangers have Jonathan Lucroy as their starting catcher this year, but he's with Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. Trevino played here when he was with Surprise in the Arizona Fall League last year. Knocks this one out to left. Negron, a leaping grab. Christopher Negron. Wow. Go get it.
Well, you can see he was indicating to Gregor Blanco that the ball was knuckling as it got out there to left field. Hit hard by Trevino on a line. I'm sure that was over his head. What a nice adjustment right at the very end. Makes like a basketball player going up for a rebound.
Yeah. Christopher Negron. The appreciation from Patrick Corbin. 2 outs now. Here's the leadoff man, Delino DeShields, who has the Rangers' only hit. A single to lead off the ball game. Patrick has retired 8 straight since. This is Patrick Corbin's 4th start this spring. First time out, he pitched 2 hitless innings here against the Reds, had 3 strikeouts, and he seemed to be on his way. That was followed by 3 innings against the Padres in Peoria. Gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, walked a couple of guys in that start. And his last time out was last Thursday in Glendale against the White Sox. Chicago got to him, 3 runs, 6 hits, and 3 1/3. But he's got it rolling here today. Iannetta completes the strikeout. That's 4 strikeouts for Patrick Corbin, who's now set down 9 straight. D-backs lead the Rangers 2-0.
in the bottom half of the third inning. I think she stole your hat, Bert. Hey fans, for the first time ever, D-backs opening day will be held on a Sunday afternoon. Secure your tickets now for D-backs versus Giants home opener at Chase Field on April 2nd. Get the best seats for opening day at the lowest price with a mini plan purchase. Visit dbacks.com.
Berm is all full here today on a perfect sunny day in Scottsdale. Brandon Drury leads off the home half of the third against Chichi Gonzalez. Brandon singled his first time up, his 10th hit this spring. There's strike one. And packing him in here in Scottsdale. Had a new Salt River Fields attendance record here, in fact, on Saturday. The game against the Giants, 13,557 in here. And it's another full house this afternoon. That's a fair ball. Brandon shoots it the other way down the right field line. It caroms off the bullpen out there. And Drury pulls into second with his third double this spring. He's 2 for 2.
I love to see some hits like this for Brandon Drury. Keeps the defense from playing that exaggerated pull shift. If every now and then you shoot one into right field, this one right down the first base line for a leadoff double.
Now 6 hits for the D-backs. Here's Jake Lamb, who struck out to win the first. I can see our producer Brad the Big Dog Weimer playing with some of his new toys down there in the truck.
Yep.
This is into center. Quayle runs it down. We've got a whole bunch of wang bang gizmos to follow Diamondbacks baseball with this year. Pitch tracks and some other things we're working on. Here's Chris Iannetta, who homered to lead off the second, his first this spring. Halfway up the berm in center field.
You have to get the right terminology. I believe it's called pitch cast.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Well,
there it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Good call. But it will track the location and speed of all the pitches. Right there. Changeup missed down and away, and it's 1-0. Yeah, we can do some amazing things now with all the technology. StatCast and PitchCast.
Getting to the place where you almost don't need a home plate umpire.
Oh, what are you saying? Four-seam fastball. You can see we'll do the sequencing here, and pitching, I'm told, is all about sequencing. First pitch, change up, down and away. Then they come in with the fastball.
And if you're a hitter that goes to the plate and tries to guess along with the opposing pitcher and catcher, you know, you think away with an off speed, up and in with a fastball. Are they going to try to put me in the rocking chair, back and forth, in and out? Some pitchers are more successful going up and down, north and south, high fastballs, low off-speed pitches. That new PitchCast will give us the opportunity to kind of keep an eye on pitchers and how they're attacking certain hitters in the opposing lineup.
And you can see we'll maintain the sequence on the bottom of the square there. So it's so far changeup, fastball, changeup. Here's the 2-1. That fastball missed down, and Iannetta is ahead in the count, 3-1. Chris Herman on deck. Chris Iannetta, another good at bat. And the Diamondbacks have 2 on and 1 out for Chris Herman. Herman singled and scored his first time up. Chris getting the start today at first base. Paul Goldschmidt still with Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. And the American team has moved from Miami. Now they're in San Diego, where they will begin second round play tomorrow at Petco Park against Venezuela. Herman, first pitch swinging, rolls it into left. Here comes Brandon Drury. He will score, and it's 3-0 Diamondbacks.
You put two catchers, primarily catchers, back-to-back in the lineup, and good things are going to happen. Chris Iannetta with a homer and a walk. Chris Herman with his second base hit of the game. This one driving home Brandon Drury for the third run of the game.
Well, you got two catchers on the bases now for Osvaldo Arcia, the DH, who struck out his first time up. D-backs have now out-hit Texas 7-1. They lead it 3-0. Another first pitch changeup from Gonzalez. And it's 0-1 on Osvaldo Arcia.
A lot of good signs in the early going for the Diamondbacks offense today. 4 opposite field hits. Chris Herman, Brandon Drury, and Christopher Negron hit their ball hard to the opposite field. Nick Ahmed kind of shot a flare out to right field.
And Jake Lamb had his loud out drilled to straightaway center, the one that Puello ran down. 1-1 now. That one missed up. 2 balls and a strike on Arcia. Arcia had a 20 home run season with the Twins. That was 3 years ago in Minnesota. Iannetta the runner at second and Herman at first. There's a lot of swing and miss. We've talked about this all spring long with Arcia. Just over 200 big league at bats last year. He struck out 80 times. Gonzalez now at 50 pitches. Rangers bullpen still quiet. Bounce to first. Loney in fair territory. Slips and falls, but they get the out on Arcia as the runners move up. A chance now for Nick Ahmed. 2 on and 2 out. Nick, his first time up, reached down with 2 strikes and dropped a bloop single into short right. Chance here to pick up a couple of more RBIs. Iannetta so far a home run and a walk. He's at third. Chris Herman a pair of singles. He's at second. Laces it off the glove of Gallo at third. Iannetta will score. And it's 4-0 Diamondbacks. That was an absolute rocket.
Trail runner Chris Herman ran right into the third baseman Joey Gallo. Gallo jumped up in the air to try to make that play and ended up right in line with Chris Herman as he's trying to advance onto third and possibly onto home.
That's supposed to be obstruction.
Perhaps in the judgment of third base umpire, I believe that's Jim Wolf down there right now. Maybe he thought Herman wouldn't be able to score on the play and only awarded him third base.
Well, they get 1 run. Nick Ahmed 2 for 2. Give him an RBI. Here's Christopher Negron. Now 4-0 D-backs. Well, if it is Jim Wolf, he left no doubt about the call. He made the call immediately. But The defender, without possession of the baseball, cannot obstruct the path of the runner. And that is Jim Wolf.
I think there's a little leeway in the rules, especially when the defender, in this case Joey Gallo, left his feet to try to catch that line drive. He was just coming back down to the ground. He really had no time to get out of Chris Herrmann's way. Could have entered into the decision by Jim Wolf to only award Chris Herrmann third.
Tell you what, Nick Ahmed laced that ball right at Gallo. D-backs now with 8 hits. Negron has one of them a single his last time up, and he gets plunked in the back of the shoulder. And the D-backs with 2 down have the bases loaded for Gregor Blanco.
There's no good place to be hit by pitch, but Negron able to get that left arm up against his rib cage. Kind of took the majority of it on the back of his left arm and his upper part of his chest. Didn't appear to any damage done.
So here we go. Chris Herrmann at third. Nick Ahmed at second and Christopher Negron at first. Blanco has struck out and reached on an error.
No.
I'm sure some of our golf playing veteran fans out there remember Chichi Rodriguez.
Chai Rodriguez. Sure.
Yeah. And you've got Jose Trevino behind the plate. No relation to Lee
I see what
Trevino.
you've done there.
A
Nice.
little PGA field of this battery for the Rangers today.
Put together a pretty good foursome, at least halfway there. Bullpen will start to get busy for Texas, and Gonzalez has fallen behind 2-0.
Lee Trevino had one of the great quotes about pressure in sports. They were asking him about standing over a putt to win the Masters. Is that pressure? And of course, he grew up as a hustler.
Yeah.
He said pressure is when you're playing for $10 and you've only got 5 in your pocket.
There is action in the Rangers bullpen. That's Preston Claiborne, the right-hander. Claiborne. Was it Herrmann? I believe Lee Trevino had a famous caddy for years and years. Might have been Herrmann.
Oh, here's Howler before the game, and yeah, that's right out of Chichi Rodriguez. He used to sink a putt and act like he was fighting with a sword. You know?
Sword back in there.
Put
Sure.
it back in the holder.
Howler knows what's going on. Nice block by Trevino. And now Blanco's had 3 balls and a strike with the bases full and 2 outs. Minor league Gold Glover last year.
Boy, and you can see why. He covered a lot of ground back there on that pitch, way inside in the dirt to Blanco that time. I mention it all the time. It's easy to see an outfielder has good range. It's easy to see if an infielder has good range. Not always as easy to see with a catcher. But Trevino really covers a lot of ground back there behind the plate.
An RBI for Blanco. The bases loaded. Walk, and it's 5-0 Diamondbacks. So the wheels are coming off for Chichi Gonzalez as Preston Claiborne continues to throw in the Ranger bullpen. And that's going to be it. D-backs still have the bases loaded for David Peralta. They lead it 5-0 in the third. Back after this from Scottsdale. Fields at Talking Stick. Diamondbacks lead the Rangers 5-0 and bidding for more here. Bases full, 2 outs, and David Peralta will face the new Rangers pitcher. It's the right-hander Preston Claiborne. His numbers in the minor leagues last year, had a good season, 3-1 at 2.02 ERA. Diamondbacks have Nick Ahmed at third, Christopher Negron at second, and Gregor Blanco at first. So far, Peralta has struck out and hit into a double play. He's 0 for 2. D-backs with 2 in the second, now 3 in here in the third. Right by Dave McKay at first.
Oh boy.
Preston Claiborne, 62 career big league games on the resume, coming in 2013 and 2014 with the Yankees. Has not pitched in the major leagues in 3 years. Peralta, the 9th man to bat in the Diamondback third. That one bounces halfway to home. And a nice block back there by Jose Trevino.
Nobody practices those.
He blocked it with his bare hand.
He looked like he did. Right arm, bare hand. Just any body part in front of that ball with a runner at third base to hold him there. Trevino showing some natural instincts behind the plate today.
Yeah, as Michael Brenly found out this spring, they make the bullpen catchers practice those, right?
Yeah, they do.
2-1 to Peralta. Bases full, 2 outs. That's out of play.
Yeah, Bert's referring to a drill the Red Sox had this spring where they were trying to encourage their runners to read the trajectory of a pitch. And if you see it headed for the dirt, go ahead and break for the next base. Well, they didn't want Blake Swihart or Christian Vasquez or Sandy Leon or any of their other players to get hurt. So they had my son Michael, the bullpen catcher, strap the gear on for 45 minutes and block pitches in the dirt so the base runners could work on their jumps at first.
And then you got the rest of the week off, I hope.
Well, he got a day off.
Right.
Which, as I mentioned earlier, is a rare treat in spring training.
Well, David's got 6 RBIs this spring. Chance to pick up a few more right here. 2 outs and a 2-2 count. Another one in the dirt. Well, Gonzalez walked in a run. That was the last batter he faced. That put Blanco at first. And now Claiborne threatening to walk in another run here. Brandon Drury would be next. Base hit. Ahmed scores. Here comes Negron. Diamondbacks have a 7-0 lead.
Goes down and gets one. Looked like a fastball down and out over the plate. Hooks it back in that hole between first and second. Diamondbacks keep adding on here offensively. Swinging the bats well today.
And they have batted around in the third. Brandon Drury led off this inning with a double. He's 2 for 2 today. Blanco at second, Peralta at first. It's turned into a 5-run Diamondback third.
When you bat around in an inning in spring training, it's called a book buster.
Mine's busted.
Well, usually it's not until later in the ball game when we have mass substitutions, but rolling around the lineup here, batting around in the third inning. Cards busted.
Well, nothing's going to top that A's game.
Oh my!
That we played here, that 21-10 game. That was last week on the 7th. 21-13, I should say. Pardon me. Oakland had an 11-run sixth.
It's easy to lose count.
Hitting for the gap in right center. And that ball gets down. This will get 2 more home. Brandon Drury, it's a 2-run double, and it's 9-0. The D-backs have scored 9 times. Drury's 3 for 3.
Yeah, and I mentioned it in his last at bat. Good to see him going to the opposite field. Last time right down the right field line. This time the gap in right center. Center cut fastball down, and Brandon Drury drives it with authority over the head of Travis Snider all the way to the wall.
Yeah, Peralta with 2 outs, running from first, scored easily. A 7-run third. And here's Jake Lamb, who's 0 for 2. Rangers put the shift on. Well, kind of odd. The Diamondbacks already with 9 runs on 10 hits, not yet through the 3rd inning. And the guy who was 10 for 20 this spring coming in does not have a hit. Jake Lamb is struck out, lined out to center earlier in this inning. Hit one right on the nose to dead center, but Puello ran it down. That was the first out here in the 3rd, and we're still going. To the shift, Robinson, the second baseman from the outfield grass. And Lamb makes 2 outs in the inning, but the Diamondbacks score 7. They lead it 9-0.
Diamondbacks 9 runs on 10 hits through the first 3 innings of this ball game, but Patrick Corbin has been on top of his game. 28 of his 35 pitches have been for strikes. 6 times he's been ahead in the count 0-2 to Ranger hitters, and 6 of his 9 outs have come via that nasty slider.
And that plays, Bob, right to your Valley Honda dealers' key to the game. Work on that off-speed stuff, the breaking stuff.
Boy, and when it's crisp like it is today, he is nearly unhittable.
Well, he's retired the last 9 Rangers he's faced, and Travis Snider, the right fielder, leads off the Texas 4. A couple of defensive changes behind Patrick Corbin. With all this offense, some of the Diamondback starters already have their 3 at-bats. And so Ildemaro Vargas takes over at 3rd, replacing Jake Lamb, and Domingo Leyva is in at 2nd for Brandon Drury.
It's kind of an odd phenomenon, but yeah, any pitcher loves their offense to put a lot of runs on the board. But the unfortunate byproduct occasionally is that Patrick Corbin's been sitting in that dugout for a long time. He was in a great rhythm through the first 3 innings, throwing strikes, jumping ahead, getting easy outs.
Right away behind on Snyder, 3-0. Yeah, he was in a real rhythm, a groove, no doubt. So far, just 1 hit given up. That was DeShield's single that led off the ball game. Lifted the other way. Negron fighting that sun, still fighting it. 10 straight set down by Corbin. 1 down in the 4th.
Good comeback there after falling behind in the count.
Ryan Rua. Rua the DH. A strikeout victim in his first at bat. And there's strike 1. It's a fair ball. Vargas at third. Long throw. And he got him. Ildemaro Vargas, 2 down. Every day he does something well.
It took 1 batter, but you bring a new guy into the game, he's going to be tested. And Vargas up to the task. Long hop over there to Chris Herman to get the out at first base. Nicely done.
And now the D-backs will put on the overshift for the left-hand hitting Joey Gallo. Gallo hit a fly ball out to right field. It was a mile up in the air to win the first. Vargas is the only defender on the third base side. Leyva, the second baseman, behind the bag at second. And once again, Ahmed, the shortstop, is way out in short right field. Patrick Corbin really wants to start. He does not want to be a reliever. Now, he was excellent, really good in that role last year, the final 6 weeks after he lost his rotation spot. But he admitted he was a little ticked off about that last year. How about that? That's Nick Ahmed out there. That's a 6-3 putout from right field. 12 straight set down by Patrick Corbin. D-backs lead at 9-0. Of the spring to lead off the second. He'll start off the 4th. Here's the Iannetta homer, and there it goes. It's our Cox Gig Life high-speed highlights. That's Iannetta's 5th hit this spring, all of them for extra bases. And Chris has had another good day. Played a home run, a walk. He's got an RBI. He scored twice. And here come the D-backs after getting 2 in the second and 7 in the third. Iannetta leads off a 9-0 Diamondback advantage. And the new pitcher for the Rangers is the right-hander out of ASU, the Sun Devil, Tony Barnett. 10th round pick out of Arizona State, originally drafted by the Diamondbacks back in '06. His only major league action came last year with the Rangers, appeared in 53 games and did very well, 7-3 at 2.09 ERA. Now 33 years old. So here we go with Iannetta, Herman, and Arcia due up in the Arizona fourth.
Barnett's got a lot going on out there on the mound. You see he sets up with the ball way behind his back, kind of on the right rib cage area. Got several toe taps before he comes to a set position. Then he's got a hiccup right in the middle of his delivery.
I thought you were talking about his hair. It looks like a flamingo out there.
All hidden behind his right side, and then just a little hesitation there before dropping and driving toward home plate. We talked about it the other day. Deception is a part of a pitcher's delivery, and if you can do something to throw off a hitter's timing, either with a little pause in the middle or a little rush in the middle, something to throw that hitter's timing off.
Well, it's working. He finally made it to the big leagues last year at the age of 32 and did well. Tony Barnett out of Auburn, Washington, went to Central Arizona College and then ASU. Diamondbacks drafted him in '06 and released him just before the 2010 season. And didn't sign with the Rangers until just before last year. So he was out of the big leagues for a long time. He spent nearly 5 seasons pitching in Japan. And he strikes out Iannetta. Barnett actually made 29 starts for AAA Reno. That was back in '09 and went 14-8, but then it was off to Japan for, let's see, 6 years. Chris Herman. Chris has singled twice and scored twice, playing first base today. Goldie in San Diego with Team USA. They'll open up their second round World Baseball Classic play tomorrow against Venezuela at Petco Park. Off the glove of Loney at first. Herman 3 for 3. That was well struck. DH is Osvaldo Arcia. Boy, every once in a while on a day like this, Salt River Field's talking stick full of D-backs fans. We got a great crowd here. You get a little bit of a breeze, and then that smell will waft up from the concourse of all the food cooking down there.
Food.
Boy, it smells good here. That's what a ballpark's supposed to smell like right now. You can smell the sausages and the onions down there. Got some noodles going. This is the place to spend a March afternoon. Arcia has struck out and grounded out. He's 0 for 2. Good play ball for Robinson. Elvis Andrus for 1. They roll it. And Barnett works around the 1-out single. We are through 4. It's 9-0 Diamondbacks. Cindy loves the island noodles here at Salt River Fields. It's one of the highlights. Look, we got some flame grilled burgers going on down there. Island noodles. This is the place to be.
And there's a rumor they serve cold beverages here during ball games.
I heard that.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick what you like best, though. It's trying to find out what you like food-wise here. And from the Diamondbacks as well, tons of offense. 9 runs, 11 hits. In the meantime, Patrick Corbin has given up just 1 base hit, a leadoff single. He's retired 12 in a row with 4 strikeouts. And the Rangers shortstop Elvis Andrus leads off the 5th. Patrick not yet at 50 pitches through 4. Up the old pitch count. Leiva's there. Corbin covers one away. There's that Corbin athleticism, an excellent basketball player. And as that one got by Herman at first, and Leiva's throw was a little high. He went up this like he's getting a rebound here.
Yeah, good to see Patrick getting over there as quickly as he did. Otherwise, there's no play on Elvis Andrus. But Patrick Corbin last year occasionally would fall off to that third base side of the mound and be a little slow getting over to cover, but no hesitation that time.
I don't know if his Syracuse Orangemen made the NCAA tournament. So are you doing a bracket?
I usually do one with some friends back in Ohio, but that's just for bragging rights. Entertainment purposes only, no wagering, please.
James Loney, the first baseman.
I do like that number 12 seed University of Nevada against Iowa State.
Now, all right, what am I missing? Why exactly?
No particular reason. I just saw some numbers the other day.
Oh, all right, so you were doing some research.
Yeah, you know, the 12 seed, and over the years their record when they play against the number 5, and Nevada's a little bit of a sleeper. I like them for 1 game anyway.
The old 12-5 upset. So there you go. Write that down in your bracket. Bob Brenly has guaranteed a victory. Wait, what? Brian Mattis, the left-hander, started warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. There's a tapper into the shift. Leiva has it for 3 on the putout. That's 14 in a row retired by Patrick Corbin. Two outs on 4 pitches. The second baseman is Drew Robinson. Boy, Patrick right at 50 pitches through 4 2/3. No walks, 1 hit given up. He's got 4 strikeouts. The slider has looked good today. Very, very encouraging outing for Patrick. And there's strike 1.
Yeah, he's been able to throw it for strikes like that, to jump ahead in the count when he wants to, and then scoot his sights over just a little bit more and lead the lefties off the outside corner or back foot the right-handed hitters. He's had it all working today.
Yeah, this is going right up there with Taijuan Walker's start against Milwaukee last week. Taijuan will pitch tomorrow night at Sloan Park in Mesa against the Cubs. That's a 7:05 start. And Corbin up, no balls and 2 strikes on Drew Robinson, who struck out looking to end the second.
8 of the 14 outs that Patrick has recorded in this ball game have come via that slider.
And as we know, when he's got that slider working, it's generally going to go well.
And I think it's good that Patrick is having this kind of day. Obviously, it's good he's having this kind of day, but especially with Chris Iannetta behind the plate. You know, you want to see every pitcher on your staff before the end of spring training, but you also want to see them when they're at their best. What works well for them when they're pitching well? And right now, Patrick Corbin is doing what you like to see him do when he's been successful in the past, and that's throw the slider for strikes, throw it in the dirt, spot your fastball away from the middle of the plate. Good for Chris Iannetta to see this today.
And you can see where Chris set that target on that previous pitch, really down and away from Robinson. He wants it down. Same spot right there. There's the slider, but he lays off, and it's 2-2. Cuello, the center fielder, is on deck. Brian Mattis still warming up in the D-backs bullpen. Fastball paints the corner, and he got him. 5 strikeouts for Patrick Corbin. He has retired 15 consecutive Rangers. 9-0 Diamondbacks. Innings, 5 strikeouts. He retired the last 15 that he faced. Fans were giving 2 viewers the chance to take part in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The first 2 people to tweet to @FoxSportsArizona, @FoxSportsAZ, "I want to hold the flag on D-backs opening day," will win the chance to do just that along with a guest. If you don't win today, you can also go online to enter at dbacks.com/holdtheflag. Now you have to be at least 18 years old. Each winner will get a spot on the field to hold the flag, plus 2 tickets to opening day at Chase Field. Start tweeting. That's a great deal. And the right-hander Tanner Scheppers is the new pitcher for the Rangers, and Nick Ahmed leads off the bottom of the 5th inning. Michael DeLeon, the new shortstop, replacing Elvis Andrus. The numbers on Scheppers last year.
Tanner Scheppers, a former #1 pick back in the 09 draft by the Rangers, 44th overall pick out of Fresno State University.
Nick, a pair of singles. He scored a run. He's got an RBI. There is Michael DeLeon. He's switch hitting shortstop. He takes over for Elvis Andrus. Nick Ahmed, another base hit. He's 3 for 3. Christopher Negron has singled. He's been hit by a pitch. He scored a run. He made a spectacular leaping catch in left field for an out. Probably the best defensive play we've seen all spring. This is chopped to third. Louis Gallo on the run. They move Ahmed along. Gregor Blanco in center field. Still no A.J. Pollock. After leaving Sunday's game at Scottsdale Stadium with some very mild groin tightness, he felt a twinge rounding the bases after hitting a home run off Matt Moore. And they expect that A.J. will need at least a couple of more days off. They're going to take no chances, considering he missed the end of last season with a groin problem. So Blanco in at center. He has struck out, reached on an error, and walked. Evan Marshall, the right-hander, warming up. You see Brian Mattis behind him. Mattis had been warming up earlier. Diamondbacks 8-8 in Cactus League play this spring. They were off yesterday. But a busy week coming up at the Cubs tomorrow night. Then games against the Brewers, the A's, the Mariners. Swing and a miss, 1-2. The Rangers have really scuffled this spring. They won just twice in their first 13 games. They've been better as of late. They've won 2 straight and 3 of 4 coming into today, but still just 5 wins all spring for the Rangers. That's the fewest in the Cactus League. Of course, they are missing many of their best players participating in the World Baseball Classic, as Bob mentioned earlier. Beltre, Lucroy, Odor, Profar, all among the missing. Fly ball out to left, Delino DeShields. Ahmed will bluff and hold at second.
To be kind of a mixed bag for Jeff Bannister, the manager of the Rangers. I mean, obviously you're very excited for your players to go play in the WBC and represent their country, but man, he's missing a big chunk of his team over there in that first base dugout.
He's getting hit pretty hard. Boy, he's done a great job. Finally got the chance to be a big league skipper, and that was absolutely the right call. Won 95 games last year, AL West champs. Peralta, a 2-run single his last time up. He's 1 for 3. That one gets behind Trevino, and Ahmed's at third. Been a busy day for young Jose Trevino back there. But you can see why they like him defensively. Moves around really well behind the plate. This is headed for the bullpen and out of play.
Push up.
You're talking about Jeff Bannister. He is really a nice combination of old school, because he's a little older than a lot of the young managers at the major league level, and a lot of what he learned about baseball he learned from Chuck Tanner, former manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He said he used to sit right next to Chuck every ball game, hanging on every word and every move.
Well, Jim Reynolds gives Sheppers the outside strike call. They strand Ahmed through 5. It's 9-0 Diamondbacks. Speed highlights. Bob, how about Patrick Corbin? It's our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing Cool plays the game. 15 in a row set down after a leadoff single.
The slider was just wicked today against this Rangers offense. 8 of the outs that Patrick Corbin recorded today came on 3 or fewer pitches, just hammering away at that strike zone.
Our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing Cool plays of the game. It's 9-0 Diamondbacks. Evan Marshall on in relief, and Cesar Puello, the center fielder, leads off the 6th. Patrick gave up a leadoff single to Delino DeShields and then set down the next 15 he faced. He finished with 5 strikeouts. The numbers last year on Evan Marshall. He's got several defensive changes around him, including for the first time this spring, and we were told this was coming, Chris Owings in right field. And this is something that they talked about all spring long doing with CO. The idea that you could play him in right field instead of center, and that way you could give David Peralta the day off or sit him against the occasional tough left-handed starting pitcher. But up until today, Chris has played only shortstop in Cactus League games as he competes for that starting job.
I have no doubts Chris will adjust to the corner outfield spots. He looked great in center field last year. Very natural, instinctive player in the outfield, and there's some angles and slicing balls hit the right field that he'll have to work on, but given as good an athlete as he is, I think he will take to it like a duck to water.
2-2 now on Puello. Torey Lovullo has believed all spring long the D-backs really need the extra help in right field more so than in center or in left, where they have some other options as backups. And they know CO is a very good athlete. That's why they've asked him to do this, and they expect he'll make the adjustment as quickly as possible. David Peralta has been helping out as Puello shattered his bat. And boy, it was impressive, Bob, to watch Chris get out there in center field. He'd never played out there before. Basically found out he was going to be playing there the day before opening day after A.J. Pollock got hurt. And I can't think of one ball that he didn't get to in center.
And not only did he get to just about everything hit his direction, but the routes that he took, the jumps that he got in center field, and of course we know he's fast, so he covered a lot of ground gap to gap. He just looked like a natural.
See the other changes. Jason Priddy replaces Chris Herman at first base, and Josh Thole now catching in place of Chris Iannetta. Full count on Puello, 3-2. Of course, Mike Hazen and their group in Boston had a player that they liked a lot, a guy a lot like Chris Owings, and Brock Holt, who was an infielder, and they turned him into a real super sub. He plays all over the field for the Red Sox. And they believe Chris Owings can be that same type of guy. Puello knocks it into center, a leadoff single, just the second hit for Texas. Here's the catcher, Jose Trevino. Trevino hit a liner to left his first time up, on which Christopher Negron made a spectacular leaping catch. You had some experience playing corner outfield, didn't you?
Boy, was it ever an experience.
Is it really harder than center field? Not that you're known as a great center fielder.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to play a little bit of center field in AAA ball, and you know, you're looking right in at home plate. You can see where the ball is in relation to home plate. Is it inside, outside, up, down? You can see the hitter swing. Is he tardy? Is he ahead of the ball? It's much easier to get jumps on the ball in center field than it is on the corner spots. At least it was for me.
Christopher Negron in left, and now Chris Owings in right. 2-0 on Trevino. There's a strike. David Peralta was telling Chris Owings that, you know, the biggest difference out here, right field versus center, is that the ball is always sinking or tailing when it's going down either line. So Chris has been working on that, mostly footwork and getting leads. Here's Negron in left. Oh, it's bright out there. He can't find it. He lost it in the sun. And now the runner, Puello, collides with the umpire out there. The umpire's in play. And he's out. Boy, he ran right into the base umpire. I think that's Jim Wolf. First, here's Negron, who cannot see the ball. Not a cloud in the sky here.
Yeah, we've talked about the left side of the field here at Salt River. Tough sun field. Oh, look out. Yeah, it looked like Puello was watching the play out in left field, wasn't looking where he was going, and ran right into Jim Wolf and is tagged out at third base.
There's the smirk on the part of Jim Wolf. That was like a hockey player in a hip check right there. Took him out during a line change.
Yeah, Jim Wolf is part of my This Day in Baseball history back in 2008. Of course, he had a brother named Randy Wolf that pitched for a long time in the major leagues. And of course, MLB would never allow Jim Wolf to work the plate when his brother Randy was pitching for obvious reasons. But in spring training, there was no such rule. So on This Day in Baseball history in 08, Randy Wolf pitched and his brother was the home plate umpire.
Randy Wolf, longtime crafty lefty. Remember when he pitched in Philadelphia with the Wolf Pack. We've got Luis Mendez now running for Trevino at second base and 1 out.
Well, that particular day in 08, it didn't really help Randy Wolf much to have his brother behind the plate in a spring training game. Randy ended up giving up 3 runs in 4 innings that day.
Well, it's been a bumpy ride so far for Evan Marshall. Faced 2 batters, given up 2 hits. Now 1-1 on Delino DeShields. Popped him up first base side. Now Pridey gets to find the baseball in that blue sky. Bright sunny day in Scottsdale, and that's the second out. Travis Snider now, he's 0 for 2. And that's going to be it for Evan Marshall. Torey Lovullo going to his bullpen. Brian Matusz on the way in. We're back after this. And left-hander Brian Matusz on in relief to face the left-hand hitting Travis Snider. It seemed like Torey Lovullo wanted to give Matusz a chance to come into a game in a lefty specialist type situation, but Patrick Corbin was so efficient that Brian had been warming up earlier in the ballgame, couldn't get in, so he'll come in here with 2 outs, and the batter is Travis Snider. Mendez the runner at second, and the D-backs will put on the shift. Snider's twice flied out to left. Ildemaro Vargas, the only D-back defender on the third base side. Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, is once again way out, almost in medium range right field. You can see Nick right there. Domingo Leyba, the second baseman, near the bag. But this is something of a new look for the Diamondbacks in their overshift with the shortstop way out there. This is the job for which Brian Matusz has been auditioning all spring, that lefty one-out guy, or loogie as they've come to be known. And he's ahead of Snider 0-2. D-backs have out hit the Rangers 12-3. They lead it 9-0. A 2-run second and a 7-run third. Luis Mendez is at second base, running for Jose Trevino. Travis Snider was once a top prospect. He was a first-round pick by the Blue Jays back in '06. The 14th overall selection in that draft. But it never really worked out. He's hit a total of 54 home runs over 8 seasons in the major leagues. Did not play in the big leagues last year. Ryan Rue with a DH would be next. He's 0 for 2. Matusz trying to get his man. off the glove of Tolley behind the plate. Mendez moves up. That one sailed on him. Wild pitch charge to Brian Matusz. Full count on Snyder, 3-2. In the air, headed for the left field line. Negron fighting that sun, and he makes the catch. Bottom 6th at Salt River Field. The Diamondbacks 9 and the Rangers nothing. Rangers 9-0. Patrick Corbin was outstanding through 5 innings today. And the Rangers have gone to their 5th pitcher of the afternoon. This is the hard-throwing right-hander Jeremy Jeffress. You see his numbers last year both with the Rangers and the Brewers. 59 appearances, a 2.33 ERA. It's a whole new Texas battery as the new catcher's Pat Cantwell. Diamondbacks 2 runs in the 2nd and 7 in the 3rd as they batted around. And Ildemaro Vargas, who took over at 3rd for Jake Lamb, will lead off the bottom of the 6th.
On, Jeff.
Jorge De La Rosa, the veteran left-hander, warming up in the Diamondback bullpen. Former Rocky starter. Two and 0 on Vargas. Brandon Drury had a good day. He was originally hitting 3rd in the order. Brandon had a single, 2 doubles, a couple of RBIs. Diamondbacks with 9 runs on 12 hits. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. Ildemaro Vargas has shown himself to be a very versatile infielder. Outstanding defensively at Mobile last year, both at second base and shortstop. He made a terrific play at third base earlier today. He's had over 100 minor league starts at third as well. Vargas began his pro career in the Cardinal system out of Venezuela. St. Louis let him go just before the 2015 season. And the Diamondbacks signed him out of independent ball. He was playing for the Bridgeport Bluefish in the Atlantic League. Fights that one off and dunks it into very shallow right center. Ildemaro Vargas, a leadoff single.
Vargas has squared up a lot of balls this spring. Not this one. Hit it out toward the end of the bat a little bit, but got enough to get it over the head of the second baseman, Drew Robinson, into right field for a leadoff base hit.
That'll bring up Domingo Leyba. His first at bat today. Leyba only 21 years old. Hit nearly 300 in the minors last year. Those numbers between Visalia and Mobile. Of course, the Diamondbacks have moved their AA affiliate from Mobile, Alabama. This year it's Jackson, Tennessee. The Jackson Generals. Robinson at second. They get one. De Leon can't quite turn it. Leyba beats it out.
Always a little tougher to turn that double play from the right side. The second baseman has to stop his momentum, turn, and throw back to the shortstop. Leyba hustling out of that batter's box, able to beat the relay to first.
Here's Chris Owings. This is CO's first action in right field. He is out there replacing David Peralta. And Chris had a good spring, 9 for 27 with a homer. Off the glove of Cantwell, but Leyba stays put at first. Here's a look at our new pitch cast technology. Owings belts it into left. Second hit in the inning brings up Jason Pridey.
We mentioned it's been a good spring for Chris Owings offensively. Seems to be much better balanced in the batter's box. There were times last year where his feet would be sliding all over the place. Didn't really have a good base underneath him, but has looked very balanced this spring, very quick with that bat through the hitting zone.
First at bat today for Pridey, the Prescott native.
Hi, JJ.
Domingo Leyba, the runner at second, and Owings at first. Pridey down 0-2.
One of the great extracurricular activities here at Salt River Field's the talking stick. Grass berm in right and left field. And every day you see kids doing this.
Gone to a full somersault now. Popped up third base side, drifting out to shallow left field. DeShields coming in, and he's got it. Osvaldo Arcia 0 for 3. The DH today. Two on and two out, 9-0 Diamondbacks. They've out hit the Rangers 14-3. Brandon Drury had a big day, 3 hits, including a pair of doubles. Chris Iannetta, his first home run this spring. Chris Herman, 3 singles. Nick Ahmed, 3 singles. A whole lot of offense for Patrick Corbin, who was sensational today. Gave up a leadoff single and then retired the next 15 Rangers he faced. He worked 5 scoreless. 0-2 on Osvaldo Arcia. Swing and miss on the fastball right down the middle. Arcia strikes out. We are through 6 in Scottsdale. It's 9-0 Diamondbacks. In Scottsdale, Arizona, Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. The D-backs all over the Rangers today, 9-0. And we've already seen one of the veteran lefties competing for a bullpen job in Brian Mattis. Here's another. It's the former Rocky, Jorge De La Rosa. You see his numbers mostly as a starting pitcher with Colorado last year. He's here trying to win a bullpen job. Jack Reinheimer is checked into the ball game at shortstop, replacing Nick Ahmed. And Evan Marzilli is out there in center, replacing Gregor Blanco. Stuart Imes has replaced Christopher Negron in left field, so it's Imes in left. So an outfield now of Imes, Marzilli, and Owings left to right. Vargas, Reinheimer, Leyba, and Pridey third to first, solely behind the plate. Ryan Rue with a DH, 0 for 2. He struck out, grounded out. Jorge De La Rosa, the Rockies' career leader in wins and strikeouts. 27 appearances with Colorado last year, 24 starts. But he's been a Valley native for a long time, so the Diamondbacks are a perfect fit as he transitions from the rotation to a full-time bullpen spot. Last year were his first relief appearances since 2008. And although he's still never technically thrown a big league pitch for the Diamondbacks, he's a D-back for the third time in his career. He was originally signed by Arizona out of Monterrey, Mexico in '98, eventually sold to the Red Sox. Boston later sent De La Rosa back to the Diamondbacks in the Curt Schilling deal. And then just as quickly he was dealt to Milwaukee in the Nucci Varner trade, as it's come to be known. Richie Sexson, I believe, also involved in that deal.
Yeah, kind Richie Sexson was a throw
afterthought there, sure. And now De La Rosa, Diamondback for the third time. Joey Gallo on deck. Full count, 3-2. Hard to third. Ildemaro Vargas cranks it up. Boy, he's got a real arm over there.
Yeah, he's got a really good arm, but he has really good feet as well. We've seen him play the middle infield positions at third base here today. He uses his feet to get his body into a good throwing position, and then he can really showcase that strong throwing arm.
I mean, that is on a rope right to Pridey at first. Vargas, the more you see him, the more you like him.
Yep.
Ildemaro Vargas.
A lot to like.
Joey Gallo is the Rangers' third baseman today. The shift is on for Gallo, who's 0 for 2. And there is a big swing and a big miss. Gallo so far this spring in 29 at bats has struck out 14 times. So nearly half the time he's up there. It's a lot of that. Trying to get the strikeouts under control. For his career, the last two big league seasons, 133 ABs, 76 punchouts. That is a ton of swing and miss.
You got to hit a lot of balls in the seats to stay in the lineup striking out that often.
Well, he did that at AAA Round Rock last year, 25 homers in just over 100 games. Bullpen again busy for the Rangers. Jose Leclerc, the right-hander. But they've been expecting for a couple of years now very good things out of Joey Gallo. First round pick in the 2012 draft out of Las Vegas. He's got more than 150 home runs over parts of 5 seasons in the minors. Rolls one away from the shift, and he placed that perfectly. Just a squib shot down the third base line. Just the 4th hit for Texas.
And teams have to put that on their defensive spray chart as well. Gallo way out in front of a pitch, cues it right off the end of the bat with a lot of side English as it rolls down that third base line. And you could clearly see where that ball was hit. Had the Diamondbacks been playing a straight up defense, that's an easy 5-3 put out at first base. But with the shift, it's a base hit for Gallo.
Now that is not Jurickson Profar. He's busy playing for the Netherlands in the World Baseball Classic. That's Jeremy Profar. This is very well hit. And it's out to center field for Marzilli off the bat of De Leon, the shortstop. And Profar back to the bag at first. James Loney, the first baseman. Rangers, of course, have long since lost Prince Fielder. And over the winter, Mitch Moreland signed up with the Boston Red Sox. So first base, a little bit of an open question this year, perhaps, for Jeff Bannister. Loney played first base for the Mets last year. 100 games. Up the middle, a single. Profar in at second. And now we've got pinch runners on both bags for the Rangers. That looks like 67. Ronald Guzman. And he'll take over at first for Loney. Drew Robinson, the second baseman, has struck out twice. Profar at second, Guzman at first, 2 outs. Jorge De La Rosa, the Rockies' opening day starter at Chase Field last year. And now trying to win a bullpen spot with the Diamondbacks. He was up against Zach Greinke, of course, in that ball game. Greinke threw yesterday in a B game on a backfield, as it was an off day, but Greinke was busy getting some work in. Fastball velocity was a little better than it had been his previous time out. There's a strike. Waves at the 2-2. Robinson strikes out for the third time today. De La Rosa strands 2. We stretch. It's 9-0 Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks lead the Rangers 9-0. And the new pitcher for Texas in front of another sellout crowd here at Salt River Field's a Talking Stick. More than 11,000 with us. It's the right-hander Jose Leclerc. And he's got a number of defensive changes around him, as you might imagine. Jared Hoying has taken over in center field for Texas. Scott Heineman is the new left fielder. And Matt Lipka is in right. Guzman remains in the game. He takes over at first for Looney. There's Jack Reinheimer. Came on for Nick Ahmed to take over at shortstop. Ahmed 3 for 3 today, 3 singles.
Hold it.
Diamondbacks so far have out-hit Texas 14-5. One and two.
Pretty good fastball from Leclerc. A little bit straight, but mid-90s with his velocity.
Jack Reinheimer, a good year at AAA Reno last season. His first experience above the AA level. Hit just under 290 for the Aces and stole 20 bases. Jack now 24 years old, turns 25 in July. Out of East Carolina. 2-2. Called strike 3. Jim Reynolds rings him up, 1 down. I'll bring up Evan Marzilli, the center fielder.
Pitch, tailing action coming back to the corner right there. Might have nipped the edge of the plate. In a 9-0 spring training game in the bottom of the 7th inning, that's a strike.
Popped him up, third base side. De Leon, the shortstop, calls for it. 2 down. Here's Stuart Imes, who took over in left field for Christopher Negron. One thing I picked up on through my keen eye, Torey Lovullo is not a fan of the straight up change. I've already gone through 2 erasers this spring.
Spring training, I usually wait until they hit before I officially put them in the lineup, because you never know.
Stuart Imes laces one, just foul down the right field line. Yeah, you can't. You may come in and
pinch runner, take over in left. Suddenly he's batting fifth when he should be hitting second, and the other guys, you can't commit.
No.
You got to wait till he actually gets in the on-deck circles. Okay, that's where they put him.
Say, you know, and Torrey is doing it for a reason. There are certain guys that maybe need an at-bat, so when you make multiple changes and bring 2 or 3 or 4 guys into the game at the same time, the guy that needs the at-bats is going to be leading off the next inning or close to hitting in the next inning, because you want to see him get his at-bats. Other guys that maybe have been hitting a lot, you don't really care if they get an at-bat in the ball game, but quite a juggling act.
De Leon can't seem to find it. It drifts over his head, and now Heineman, the left fielder, has it. And Leclerc works a 1-2-3 inning. Off to the 8th. It's 9-0 Diamondbacks. Here's 9-0. Patrick Corbin was outstanding on the mound. 5 scoreless innings. He gave up only 1 hit at 5 strikeouts and retired 15 in a row. And now the 5th pitcher of the afternoon, the right-hander, the former Reds closer, it's J.J. Hoover.
Yeah, it didn't go well for J.J. last year with Cincinnati. You see the numbers right there. However, 2 years ago, back in the 2015 season, this guy went 8-2 with a 2.94 ERA. Pitched in 67 ball games, only surrendered 44 base hits in 64 innings. So the Diamondbacks feel there's something there with J.J. Hoover. They're hoping to rediscover what he did in that 2015 season.
Well, Hoover was the Reds pick to take over the closer's job from Aroldis Chapman last year. And then it didn't really work out. It was a setback for him. Gave up runs in 10 of his 18 appearances and was pulled from the 40-man roster. Diamondbacks signed him in January, but prior to last year, he had been a very good and dependable setup man in the Reds bullpen. Here's Jared Hoying, the center fielder. He'll lead off the 8th inning. You can see our new technology, our PitchCast tracker. It'll track the location, the speed, and the type of pitch, so we can show you the sequencing here. And we'll continue that sequencing on the bottom there. So a first pitch fastball followed by a slider from J.J. Hoover. All the different pitches have different colors.
And the velocities. Fastball at 91, slider at 75.
This is roll to first. Potty will take it. Quickly one down. That'll bring up the catcher, Pat Cantwell.
You know, partner, I was just perusing the Diamondbacks regular season schedule.
As you tend to do, as one does.
Yeah. Looking for off days.
Wait, what?
No. But in the month of April, I mean, the National League West, you could possibly win it or lose it in the first and last month of the season. The Diamondbacks have 7 with the Giants, 7 with the Dodgers, 7 with the Padres, and 3 with the Rockies in the month of April.
Seems like Major League Baseball has loaded up the first and last months of each season in recent years, heavy with divisional play.
Yeah, and then in the month of September, they play the Giants 6 times, the Rockies 7, Padres 6, and the Dodgers 3. Now they do have 3 with Miami and 3 with the Kansas City Royals to close the season in September, but a lot of National League West games early and late.
Chris Owings, his first test in right field, 2 outs.
Which is all the more reason it would behoove the Diamondbacks to come out of the chute fast.
Going to be a very competitive National League West. The Rockies will be much improved this year, but they have just been decimated over the last week or so by injuries. Colorado, they lost the backup catcher Murphy today for about 6 weeks. Ian Desmond suffered a broken left hand, had surgery. He's going to be out a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks. Chad Bettis discovered that he's going to need chemotherapy as his cancer came back, which is just terrible news. And they have a few other injuries as well, so the Rockies have really had a rough go here. Scott Heineman.
Welcome to Colorado, Bud Black.
Yeah. Spent $70 million on Ian Desmond to have him play first base, and he gets hit on the left hand by a pitch and needed surgery. Dr. Sheridan performed that surgery this week. And we all know about the Giants and the Dodgers. Dodgers brought all their guys back somehow. It looked like they may lose 1 or 2 of those free agents. They kept them all. Turner's back. Kenley Jansen is back. They add Logan Forsythe. And the Giants are the Giants. I mean, when you can roll out there Johnny Cueto and Madison Bumgarner and Jeff Samardzija and Matt Moore, that's pretty good. Friday, this has got a chance to stay fair, and it drifts back there into the seats.
I think the big question for the Giants, and we saw them just a few days ago, is that bullpen. A lot of new faces, a lot of new arms down there for Bruce Bochy, but between Boch and Dave Righetti, I think they'll end up putting together a pretty serviceable bullpen.
They made a $60 million investment in Mark Melancon to close, but the question is going to be, how do you get to your closer? That could be a bit of a minefield. You can see the location on Hoover's pitches here to Heineman. And J.J. Hoover gets the strikeout at 1, 2, 3/8. Diamondbacks lead the Rangers 9-0. Down 15 in a row. 5 scoreless for Patrick. Only 1 hit allowed. He struck out 5. Tons of offense for the Diamondbacks. 9 runs on 14 hits. Brandon Drury was 3 for 3 with a couple of doubles. Chris Herman and Nick Ahmed also 3 for 3. Chris Iannetta hit his first home run this spring. Jose Leclerc, the right-hander, back out there to start the bottom of the 8th inning. And the catcher Josh Thole leads it off.
One thing we haven't talked about this spring, and I'm a little surprised that the Diamondbacks haven't been more proactive with this. I'm surprised every team isn't more proactive, playing night games towards the end of spring training. You know, guys get into a routine of waking up early, getting to the ballpark early, starting their day at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, starting their workout at 9 o'clock in the morning, games at 1 o'clock in the afternoon under the bright Arizona sunshine. And in a few weeks, it'll turn exactly the opposite. Sleep late, play late.
1-1 to Thole. Yeah, the Rangers played a night game last night. They beat the Giants in surprise. Diamondbacks will play a night game tomorrow night, but that's at Sloan Park in Mesa against the Cubs. Taijuan Walker against Kyle Hendricks in that ball game, but then it's a whole bunch of 1 o'clock starts after that.
Yeah, 3 night games on the schedule this spring. Lofted in the air to left field. Should be no problem for Heineman. Yeah, the last 2 games of spring training against Cleveland Indians out Chase Field, obviously both night games, but other than that, 3 night games on the schedule this spring. I always felt, especially towards the end, you know, switch the motor around. Okay, sleep in tomorrow. Nobody at the ballpark before 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It is a little odd that you spend, you know, 6-8 weeks getting here literally as the sun is coming up, and then you play night games for 6 months.
Where some guys are getting home as the sun comes up.
That's, there is that. The candle has been burned at both ends. Ildemaro Vargas. Matt Cook, the right-hander, started warming up at the Diamondback bullpen. It's good to see Matt back in action. Haven't seen him certainly in TV yet. Ildemaro Vargas gets a hold of one, and that ball is gone. Ildemaro Vargas. Oh, he looks good. It's 10-0 Diamondbacks. The Cardinals may have given up on this young man far too soon because he looks like he's a player.
It's hard to find a weakness in his game. As you mentioned the other day, he does something every day to open your eyes. This time just take a 96-mile-an-hour mid-strike zone fastball and absolutely crushing it to right center field. Whether it's a defensive play or a base running play, or in this case a long home run, getting himself on base to extend an inning, it's every day Vargas doing something. He's right in the middle of it.
Yeah, Vargas went all the way through the D-backs minor league system last year as Leyba fouls that one back. He played at Visalia, Mobile, and Reno. And when all was said and done, he'd played in just over 130 games, hit .305, stolen 21 bases, and played excellent defense at a variety of different spots around the infield.
Now, not easy to do, playing multiple positions and moving up a level every couple of months.
And the other thing you like about him, Vargas last year nearly 580 plate appearances, and he walked more than he struck out. A very good contact man at the plate. 0-2 on Domingo Leyba. And oh, by the way, he switched hits.
Well, he had to hit today. He's in that 3 spot in the lineup that was previously occupied by Brandon Drury. Combined, those guys are 5 for 5 with a homer, 3 runs driven in, 2 doubles, scored 2 runs.
Stay hot.
3 spot is red hot.
It'll be hot again when the WBC ends.
Yeah, they're just keeping it warm for Goldie.
Goldie now in San Diego with Team USA. They have moved on from their Miami site. American team will begin second round play against Venezuela tomorrow at Petco Park in the World Baseball Classic. Tonight in San Diego, it's Puerto Rico versus the Dominican Republic. And I tell you what, that bracket in Miami had some wild ball games. That game, Colombia against the Dominican Republic the other day, was one of the most exciting games seen in a long time. And the fans are into it. I mean, it's weird to see Marlins Park with 37,000 people in there. Usually we go in there and there's 5,000. And they're all waving flags and banging on noisemakers and having a great time. And it has been a hugely entertaining World Baseball Classic so far. Diamondbacks have another exhibition game, in fact, against a World Baseball Classic team. That's our next Fox Sports Arizona TV game, Saturday here at Salt River Fields. Full count on Leyba, 3-2. He walked him. Diamondbacks will play the second place team that emerges from the pool that includes Japan, Cuba, Israel, and the Netherlands. And that'll be Saturday here in Scottsdale. We'll have that game for you on Fox Sports Arizona. We've already seen one WBC game against Team Mexico. Didi Gregorius playing for that Netherlands team, former D-back great. He's looked really good in that event. Here's Chris Owings, who singled in his first event. Venezuela and Italy played a tiebreaker game last night. The Italians, with Daniel Descalso as their second baseman, had a lead. Venezuela came back and won it. But a lot of very thrilling finishes in the World Baseball Classic so far. It's been a big hit.
Former D-back Wellington Castillo having a real nice WBC run.
He, in that game against Colombia, he made a tremendous tag on a throw from left field at the plate to preserve a tie. And then Welly came up and had a big 2-out hit to drive in the go-ahead runs. Wellington Castillo now with the Baltimore Orioles. Ender Inciarte has been playing for the Venezuelan team. He's looked good. Straight up in the air, Cantwell looking for it, but it's out of play. There's Matt Cook. Good to see Matt back in action. He was slowed a bit earlier in this spring by a little nagging injury. I think it was a hamstring. But Matt came up last September and looked really, really good. 26-year-old right-hander. In fact, I remember that start where he made a spot start for Zach Greinke at Nationals Park in Washington, and for a while there had a no-hitter. Took a no-no into the 6th inning at Washington. That was September 27th, final road trip of the year. And Matt has shown himself to be a strike thrower. So we'll get a look at Matt Cook coming up. He'll work the 9th inning. From the small town of Cherokee, Iowa, population 5,000. Owings gets into one, and that ball is gone. Chris Owings, a home run. It's 12-0. Well, corner outfielders are supposed to hit for power, right?
That's right.
So there is Chris Owings, the right fielder, 2 for 2 with a single and a home run.
Cement mixer breaking ball just kind of hung over that inside part of the plate for him at 82 miles an hour. Well, you could tell from the sound that one was not going to land on the field of play. Way up on the bat. Nice play, sir. You know you had the wrong hat on. That was a nice play.
Third D-backs home run of the ball game, the second in this inning, and that one will chase Jose DeClercq. The Diamondbacks in the 8th now lead the Rangers 12-0. Back from Scottsdale in just a moment. with a home run to make it 12-0 Diamondbacks in the bottom of the 8th inning. They lead the Rangers 12-zip, and the new pitcher for Texas is the left-hander Shane McCain, the pride of Troy University in Troy, Alabama. His numbers in the minor leagues last year at High Desert in the Cal League. He also pitched for Surprise in the Arizona Fall League last year. So here is Shane McCain to face Jason Pridey. Home runs in this inning by Ildemaro Vargas, a solo shot, and Chris Owings, a 2-run homer.
You rarely see teams play straight matchups in a spring training game. Maybe the last week of camp, when your roster's cut down to more what it's going to be during the regular season, you might try to get guys in a situation. But for Jason Pridey, he's got to be thinking, hey, Jeff Bannister, you got a whole bunch of righties down at the bullpen. Why you got to bring this guy in?
De Leon, the shortstop, runs it down.
A little crossfire from Shane McCain.
It's just more fun to say it that way.
It is. It really is.
Shane McCain. Now hitting for the DH, Osvaldo Arcia. Sergio Alcantara, the switch hitter. D-backs, if they can hang on to this 12-0 lead, will improve their spring record at 9-8. Next game is tomorrow night. That's at Sloan Park in Mesa. 7:05 start against the Cubs. Taijuan Walker versus Kyle Hendricks. And boy, Taijuan Walker was sensational here last Friday against Milwaukee. Patrick Corbin might have been even better today. Patrick had that slider working. Retired 15 straight, 5 strikeouts, 5 scoreless. There's a tapper over the head of Shane McCain. Marte, the second baseman, can't make the play in time. Alcantara beats it out. So a chance now for Jack Reinheimer. Jack struck out looking his last time up. Got a big Jack Reinheimer fan club here
Apparently
today.
Brought a smile to his face.
Pat Cantwell moving well behind the plate for the Rangers. Pat Cantwell was a teammate of Travis Jankowski, the Padres center fielder, on that good Stony Brook team from a couple of years ago that made a run at the College World Series. 3rd round pick by Texas. Rangers without Jonathan Lucroy is catching for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. Robinson Chirinos, another Texas catcher, playing in that event as well. 3-0 on Reinheimer. Evan Marzilli on deck.
That's been another unexpected byproduct of the WBC. Lucroy and Chirinos both gone from the Rangers, so some of these guys that are going to start the season in the minor leagues getting an opportunity to play some Cactus League baseball with the big league club. Get in front of the coaching staff, get in front of your general manager, show them what you can do down here in the Cactus League, knowing full well you're going to start the season somewhere else. But great opportunity for some guys to get in front of the coaching staff and show what they can do.
And it's nice not to have to, go hunting on a backfield somewhere if you want to see some of these guys play. Reinheimer, the 3-2 is rolled to Profar in third. Matt Cook coming on for the Diamondbacks. He will work the ninth inning. Home runs by Vargas and Owings. It's 12-0 D-backs. They lead the Rangers as we start the ninth inning. And here's a chance to get a look at the 26-year-old right-hander. It's Matt Cook, who was one of the D-backs' most pleasant surprises late last year. Flashing some promise both as a starter and reliever during a September call-up, including 5 no-hit innings in a start at Nationals Park.
Yeah, very impressive with his body language as well. The numbers were great for Matt Cook last year, but he was a guy that when he stepped on that mound, he looked like he belonged out there, and he pitched like it.
Yeah, we always hear those low heartbeat guys.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked very, very comfortable out there in a major league mound. Acquired from the Mets in August of 2015. That was part of the Addison Reed deal. And Matt split his time in the minors last year between AA Mobile and AAA Reno. Matt Lepke, the right fielder, leads it off for the Rangers. Biggest problem for Matt Cook last year was blisters. He had to deal with some recurring blister issues for much of last summer. And that did come up a little bit when he was in the big leagues in September. In fact, that blister started to flare up a bit during his no-hitter against the Nationals. It was a blister on the inside of his right middle finger. And he said all of his pitches come right off that finger. And so it became kind of problematic for him. But the rest of the time we saw Matt Cook last year, a guy not afraid to come right at big league hitters. Fastball, slider. He's a strike thrower. Very efficient out there. And as we mentioned, appeared to be not at all rattled by his big league surroundings. Matt from Cherokee, Iowa, pitched collegiately at the University of Louisville. 3rd round pick by the Mets 5 years ago.
Hold up.
And you can see the way he locates on our pitch cast here. Just throwing fastballs right in or around the strike zone. That's generally where he lives.
Yeah, that's what he did last year when he was successful. Just stayed out of the middle of the plate. Good low strikes with a little bit of movement. Kept it on the corners. Occasionally would elevate up above the top of the zone.
And very consistent velocity. Bump that one up a bit to 94, and it stays 2-2 on Lipka. Matt Cook spent his first 2 full seasons in the minors as a starting pitcher in the Mets system. A couple of years ago, he began at Double-A Binghamton. The Mets converted him into a reliever, and that was before he was acquired by the Diamondbacks. And the D-backs put Matt back into a starting role at the minor league level last year. Full count, 3-2. Josh Thole behind the plate. He's got the strikeout. Matt Cook, 1 down.
Boy, and the bar has been set very high for Matt Cook by Diamondbacks pitching today. I mean, from start to finish, it's been outstanding. Matt Cook picks up right where J.J. Hoover left off. It all started with Patrick Corbin. The Diamondbacks pitching today, 8 1/3, 0 walks, 8 strikeouts, only 5 base hits.
Corbin had 5 strikeouts. 1 for De La Rosa, 1 for Hoover, now 1 for Cook. Here's the DH Ryan Rua, 0 for 3. A reminder, our next TV game on Fox Sports Arizona will be Thursday. That's a 1:05 start. That's at Maryvale against the Brewers. That will be the Milwaukee broadcast. Bob and I back on the TV side Saturday, as we'll have that World Baseball Classic exhibition game for you from here at Salt River Fields. Robbie Ray will start that game against Milwaukee Thursday afternoon. Just missed with that one. It's 3-1 on Rua. Profar on deck. Just by a diving Reinheimer and into left. So Rule 1 for 4. Just the 6th hit for Texas. Preston Beck will run for Ryan Rua. Here's Profar.
Wasn't totally a wasted bus trip for Preston Beck.
I was just thinking that. Finally gets into the game as a pinch runner in the 9th inning. We'll have a lot to think about on the way back to Surprise. Texas still only 5 wins this spring. That's the fewest in the Cactus League, with so many of their star players in the World Baseball Classic. Beltre, Lucroy, Odor, Profar among the missing.
They had to win 3 of their last 4 to get to 5 victories on the spring.
Yeah, Texas under Jeff Bannister won just twice in its first 13 games this spring. Look out. Yeah, that one just missed the coaches over there. A little squib shot that'll dunk into left center. Couple of seeing eye hits against Matt Cook. That'll bring up Michael DeLeon, the shortstop. Do the coaches sit over there so they can talk about the players without being heard?
Yeah, that's the primary reason. I mean, obviously you get a real good look at the batters at the plate because you're so close to home plate. You can get a real good look at your pitchers on the mound. But more than anything else, it's just talking about things you see during the game, evaluating your own players, maybe talking about some players on the other team.
Oh, Mikey.
Beck is the runner at second and Profar at first. The second base for Leyba. Reinheimer for one. And that's all they'll get.
Talked about it earlier. Tough to turn that double play from the right side because of everything the second baseman has to do to get the ball to the shortstop. But that time Leyba got it there in good shape. Jack Reinheimer just lost the handle on the relay throw.
And you can't assume the double play, so a fielder's choice. 4-6 on the put out at second. Ronald Guzman, who came in to run for James Loney, the first baseman.
Guzman is listed at 6'5" in the Rangers media guide. He looks taller than that.
Looks a lot taller than that.
He's a big guy.
All good.
Marte, the second baseman, on deck. He would be next. And Cook a strike away. First, Pridey knocks it down. Cook is there, and the Diamondbacks win it 12-0. Well, Bob, take your pick. You want Patrick Corbin start of the D-backs offense today?
I'll take 6 of one and a half a dozen of the other. Boy, Patrick Corbin, it's tough not to like what he did today. Was absolutely dominating, especially with that nasty slider. We talked about it in the open of the show, working in those secondary pitches. He did a great job of that. Boy, did the offense make it stand up.
12 runs on 17 hits. They beat the Rangers 12-0 and improved their Cactus League record to 9-8 this spring. But Patrick Corbin may be the headliner. He was just rolling along, a leadoff single, and then 15 up, 15 down for Corbin. 5 scoreless innings with 5 strikeouts. D-backs hit 3 home runs today. Chris Iannetta, Chris Owings, and Ildemaro Vargas. 12 runs on 17 hits. Bob and I will see you Saturday here from Salt River Field. So long, everybody.